Hey guys, so as you may have noticed if you've been following following my channel and the videos I post, I'm currently reading Jonathan Franzen's Freedom. I'm about halfway through. I just did a second video talking about it in a review. The first was kind of my impressions of the first 100 pages, and the second is kind of where I am now and what's going on and what I think about it. I still really like it. I'm still about where I was the last time I did a video on it. There's parts that are kind of drag a little bit that aren't as interesting, but overall it's a compelling novel. I really, really like it. And I wouldn't be surprised a bit if by the end of the year this will definitely be in my top 10. I read Franzen's novel The Corrections last year, and that was one of my favorites for last year, and this is so far one of my favorites for this year. So, more to come on that. I'm nowhere near finished, and I'm definitely be doing at least a part 3, maybe even a part 4 video for that as well. And I'll go further into my thoughts on it then. Also, right now, concurrently, I'm reading C.J. Box's novel Breaking Point. This is about as far on the opposite end of the spectrum as you can get. Franzen's a very literary, wordy kind of guy who writes about rich, depressed suburbanites and the poor decisions they make and the tangled relationships they have. And it's very literary stuff, and I say literary because that's what that kind of writing is considered. Breaking Point is like a straight-up mystery. Basically, it's following a character that he's written other novels about named Joe Pickett, and he is tracking this guy who worked, I think, for an environmental agency who has gone rogue because these two EPA agents turned him dead in his town, and the local cops and state cops and FBI and CIA are all getting dragged in here doing investigations, and they all think it has something to do with the dude who took off. And Joe kind of gets dragged into it. Joe is he's like a Wyoming, state, forest ranger kind of guy. That's kind of what his job does. And then he kind of gets unwittingly roped into it. I really like it. The writing is a lot more sparse than Franzen. The story is more simple. It's meant to be more just straight genre fiction as opposed to the more literary stuff like Franzen. And that's why I'm reading it, because I kind of wanted something I could take a break from Franzen and just read something more just straightforward genre fiction. Also, as I mentioned before, I'm also reading a book of short stories by Joyce Carol Oates. This one's called High Lonesome, and it collects stories that she published from 1966 to new stories that were new at the time that were published in 2006. And it's like a career retrospective of her work, along with quite a few new stories at that time that hadn't been published. I really like her stuff. I've talked about her before, I think in my last weekly rundown. She's very dark, she's very literary, she writes very intense fiction. It's definitely more in that artistic style that's very nuanced and uses very poetic language as opposed to more of a plainer, simplistic writing style like someone like Raymond Carver. But I do like her. She's written a lot of stuff. I've barely cracked the surface. She's a writer I'd like to read more of because she has published numerous books of short stories, lots of novels, criticism, and much other writing. And I've only read very little by her. I've only read some short stories and one of her novels. So I'd like to read more of her writing and kind of get more into her work, because she's someone I am a fan of. She's just not someone I'm all that familiar with. Also, this is a book I haven't started yet, but I checked it out at the library. Strictly for the cover, this definitely looks like my kind of a sci-fi action cheese. Seas of Venus by David Drake. Just that cover of a astronaut dude shooting a laser at a giant squid is definitely all I needed to intrigue me. That cover makes it look very B-movie-ish. And I'm always down, one, for science fiction, and two, I'm always down for that kind of stuff that either is from or imitates that kind of golden age science fiction of like, monsters on Mars kind of things. Very invaders from space, or astronauts going to other planets and meeting the aliens and stuff like that. I'm definitely a fan of, and I really like it. I haven't read some science fiction in a while. The last thing I read, Jesus, it's forever ago. It's probably like some Robert Heinlein or something. I think the last thing I read science fiction was The Moon of the Harsh Mistress. But anyways, this seems very interesting. It seems very up my alley, and it seems like a good like sci-fi B novel kind of thing. So anyways, that's kind of it for this episode. And I'll have to talk about this is kind of what I'm currently reading, what I plan to read, and my general thoughts on them. Especially Freedom is very brief, because I'll be doing whole reviews of that. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you're new to my channel, I talk about books all the time. I do it in this very handheld style where I just talk directly to the camera. If you like that, or people talking about books or literature, check me out, subscribe, and like my videos. If you're a long-term subscriber, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing. I never thought I'd have this many subscribers. I mean, it's not a lot by like YouTube standards, but it's a lot to me, and I appreciate it. So thanks for watching. You guys are amazing. Best subscribers in the world. And I'll try to have another video up soon. So we'll see how fast I can read. And I'll probably definitely have another Freedom video up soon, depending on how far I get in that. So thanks for watching again. I know I've already said it, but I'm a broken record. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.